श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्ते नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। व्यासम् अष्टनब्धारं शक्ते पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं देशकुदातं तपोनिधिं व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मणदे वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. So you're looking at Galava getting into trouble because of his obstinacy, right? So he was asking Vishwamitra repeatedly, what should I give for Guru Dakshina? And Vishwamitra asks for 800 horses, each of white color, pure white, but with 1 year black. Right? And he was struggling, and then Garuda comes and he says he will take him to wherever he wants to go. And then Garuda then suggests that for him to acquire those horses, he need wealth. And so for that, he says, I'll take you to Yayati, right? So because of that, Garuda and Yayati, they arrive, the Garuda and Galava, they arrive at Yayati's place. Which place is that? Anyone remembers the place name? City, Yayati's city where he was ruling. Pratisthana. They came to Pratisthana. There they met Yayati. Yayati worshipped Galava and Garuda, and giving all the respect to Galava as a Brahmana. And then Garuda answers Nahusha, Nahusha's son Yayati. He answers him saying that this is Galava, my friend, and he's been disciple of Vishwamitra for many years. And then, as commanded by Vishwamitra, he wanted to give his Guru Dakshina, and then Vishwamitra demanded him the horses as a Guru Dakshina. He repeatedly, after demanding his Guru, Vishwamitra asked him to give me 800 horses of like moon like white, pure white, and then 1 year black. So that's why Galava is here, and that this Galava is in great grief. So he's unable to fulfill his Guru's command, and that's why he has come to your help, seeking your help here. So give him that gift of those horses so that he becomes happy. So again, you are a Rajarishi, and that's why you have wealth of asceticism of your own, and this is Brahmana, and by giving you a portion of his wealth of asceticism will make you rich in the wealth of that kind. Again, so when someone gives gift to Brahmana's asceticism, whatever the tapas or penance or even japa they have done, the merits of that, a portion of that Brahmana gives it to the person who gives that gift, right? So that's what here Garuda is saying. So you already have a lot of wealth of that religious merit in you, but this Brahmana has a lot of ascetic wealth merits in him. So by giving this gift to this Brahmana, you will also get them. So as many hairs in that horse's body, so many regions of bliss. So that's in the heaven and places you will spend. So that's how much time you will spend in those regions. So that's why give this gift to this Brahmana. So listening to this words from Garuda, Yayati thinks a little bit before, and then he again looking at him, Garuda and Galava, Yayati again calmly tells them that I'm very blessed that I have been able to see you today, but again, this very province which I'm ruling again is equally very much blessed, so it is very wealthy. But there is one thing that I would like to say: I am not as rich as you think, because my wealth has suffered great diminution in the recently. So that's why I cannot make your gift as you have asked. But at the same time, I cannot send you empty-handed. You have come here for asking for something, but I will give you something instead of horses. I will give you something so that your visit will not go fruitless. So I will give you something that will make your purpose fruitful. So if one comes to asking for something and returns disappointed, that Brahmana who is disappointed may destroy the entire race of that host. That's why there is no act more sinful than that saying, I have nothing. So that's why I'm not saying I have nothing. So when someone has come here asking for something, I will asking for give something. I'm not going to send you saying I have nothing. That's why I will give you something. And again, Yayati, knowing all the dharma and shastras and everything, he says that disappointing a brahmana saying I have nothing to give is going to destroy his sons, grandsons, and uh, entire race. So that's why I will give you. Take this daughter of mine. She becomes the perpetrator of 4 families. So again, in beauty, she is like celestials, devata, apsaras, and she is capable of prompting every virtue. And her, because of her beauty, she's been always been asked by many people, including devatas, men, asuras, everybody asking for her hand. But the twice you will have 400 horses each of black ear from the kings of the earth from as a dowry by giving her. So this daughter of Madhavi, you take her with you, and that's what through her you probably hopefully will achieve your wish. So having said that, Yayati gives Madhavi to Galava's custody, saying take her. And with that, taking Madhavi with him, Garuda and Galava report, and then Garuda wishes good luck to Galava and says, we will see you again, and then he disappears. So after that, after Garuda leaving, Galava taking Madhavi with him, he thinks about where to go, which king he should go, where he can ask for a good dowry and give Madhavi as a wife to that king. So he thinks about many kings, and then first he goes to Ayodhya, where Ikshvaku dynasty's king named Haryyashwa was ruling. Again, Ikshvaku dynasty, we know, right? So where Rama was born. So Haryyashwa, he goes there, and he had large army and all kind of 4 kind of forces in him, and treasury was filled with a lot of wealth and corn and everything. He was respecting, he was well loved by the Brahmanas. Again, he was well loved by the Brahmana, means he was uh, acting according to dharma, right? So he was desiring of a offspring, and he was living in quite peace, and because of that he was doing severe austerities. And then the Brahmana Galava goes there and tells Haryyashwa that this Madhavi will increase your family of her husband, will increase the family of her husband, bringing forth children. So that's why accept her from me as your wife, giving me a dowry of as I ask you. So Haryyashwa looks at Madhavi, and also he thinks about his wish to have a son. And he says that he looks at Madhavi and he says that she has those 6 limbs that are should be high or high in her, and those 7 that are need to be slender or slender in her body, and those three things that are again deep are very deep in her. Again, again the five that need to be red are red in her. In her, again, she is worth to be looked at even by the devatas and asuras and everybody. She has all the possessed of all the accomplished in arts and science, and she is possessed of all the auspicious signs, and she will bring forth many children. So tell me what dowry that I should give. So here Haryyashwa mentions about the limbs and the body of a girl, which are signs of auspiciousness, right? So he talks about limbs, 6 limbs that should be prominent or elevated or high, right? So again, these things come up in many Puranas and other places as well, where and also later, I think in Mahabharata, where it explains what are the 64 things that one should look for in a girl. Okay, so different parts of the body which are signs of auspiciousness. So here, 6 things is normally considered as uh, the, the 6 things that should be elevated, that should be prominent, are back of each palm, the 2 dorsal, the 2 bosoms, and so those are the 6 things that should be elevated. And the again other opinion is that in some places we see the 2 bosoms, 2 hips, and 2 eyes that should be raised or elevated. Those should be prominent. And the 7 things that should be slender uh, are like skin, hair, teeth, fingers of hands, fingers and toes, and then the waist, and then the neck. So these 7 should be slender. And the 3 things that should be deep are her navel, voice, and understanding. Those should be deep. And the 5 things that should be red normally are her 2 palms, 2 outer corners of her eyes, the tongue, and upper and lower lips, and the palate. So these should be red in color. So these are all the signs of uh, good, auspicious signs of a maiden. So here, Haryyashwa, looking at her, thinks that she will bring forth good children to me. So tell me what's the dowry I should give. And Galava asks him that give me 800 horses born in a good country, like moon like whiteness, and should have 1 black ear. And this is this Madhavi will bring the mother of your become your mother of children. So tell me, so give me those things. So Haryyashva, thinking about that, becomes filled with sorrow, but he also looks at Madhavi and thinks that he should have a children with her. So he says that I have only 200 horses of the likes what you have described, but I have many other which are worthy of sacrifice. So not worthy of even picking for a horse sacrifice, right? So, but so I desire to have children, one son with this girl and this Madhavi. So that's why grant me her. So grant this request her. So Galava then says that uh, hearing these words of king, Madhavi tells Galava that once a Brahmana has granted me a boon, saying that after each delivery of a child, I will become a maiden again. I will become a kanya again, once again. So I have that boon. So this is similar to what, for example, Draupadi has, right? So she will become kanya again, a maiden again, a girl again. So that's why she says that give me away, therefore, to this king, and accepting those 200 horses. And in that way, you will hopefully will be able to acquire the full 800 horses you are after. And so I will in from different kings, so that you will have uh, uh, through 4 sons I'm going to give, so you will have 800 horses. So thinking like that, so then Galava agrees to that, and then he says these words to Haryyashwa, saying that accept this Madhavi for a fourth part of the dowry, that I have asked, and you can have one child through her. So one son through her. So then taking that Madhavi from Galava, marrying her, Haryyashwa in due time gets a son, and that son is called as Vasumanas. And that son was again, he was like Vasus, and that's why he became known as again, he is called Vasumanas, and he became a great king later on. So after some time, Galava returns to Haryyashwa and says that you have obtained a son. So this child is like Surya himself in splendor, and so in time he will become. So the time has come for me to take Madhavi to some other king. So after this, Haryyashwa, as promised, he gives Madhavi. He returns Madhavi to Galava, and then Madhavi with Galava makes her journey again, and then they come to uh, Divodaasa. So a king named Divodaasa. So they come there. So Galava goes to that Divodaasa in Kashi, and he was ruling there. He's son of Bhimasena. He goes there and he again makes the same thing, saying that I am looking for this type of horses, and you can have Madhavi, and through her you can have children, and then you can have so give me those horses. And then again, similar challenge here. So Divodasa had only 200 horses, and he agrees to have one child through Madhavi, and then give those 200 horses. So after that, agreeing to that, making that dowry agreement, so Galava gives Madhavi in marriage to Divodasa, and then he goes away. So here Divodasa and Madhavi, they spend their time together, duly married and happily, like Surya and Prabhavati, Agni and Swaha, Indra and Shachi, Chandra, Rohini, Yama, Urmila, Varuna, Gauri, Kubera with Riddhi, Narayana with Lakshmi, Sagara with Ganga, Rudra with Rudrani, Brahma with Saraswati, Vasishta with Ardishanti, and again Vasishta with Arundhati. Shakti with Ardishanti, Vasishta with Arundhati, Chavana with Suganya, Pulastya with Sandhya, Agastya with Lopamudra, Satyavan with Savitri, Bhrigu with Puloma, Kashyapa with Aditi, and Vishwamitra with Renuka. Jamadagni with Renuka, and Vishwamitra with Himavati, Brahaspati with Tara, Shukra with Sataparva, and Bhumipati with Bhumi, Pururavas with Urvashi, Ruchika with Satyavati, Manu with Saraswati, Dushyanta with Shakuntala, Dharma with Dhriti, Nala with Damayanti, Narada with Satyavati. Okay, Narada with Satyavati. This is a story. Normally, Narada is considered as Brahmachari, right? So we will come to Narada's marriage to Satyavati story later in Mahabharata. Okay. So, and then Jaratkar with Jaratkar. Most of these marriages and stories we already heard, right? So, for example, Jaratkar with Jaratkar we heard in Adi Parva, right? And Jamadagni's marriage to Renuka, Vishwamitra, Himavati, Bhrigu with Puloma. All these stories have come through. Right, so we have come through learned all these stories. Most of these stories already in Mahabharata, and some of them, many others will come later on as well. So Nala with Damayanti, for example, Satyavati with Satyavan. In Vanaparva, we looked at that, right? So all this, so like this couple, so what here Vaishampana, while narrating this story, he says that like this couple, okay, like Nala with Damayanti or Vishwamitra, Himavati or Brahaspati with Tara, with all these Dushyanta with Shakuntala, with all, like this couple, Divodasa spent his time happily with Madhavi. Okay, so just like Krishna spent his time with Rukmini, he spent time with them. So then after that, Madhavi gave birth to a son called Pratardana. So this Pratardana again was born, and as per previously, Galava came after some time, and then he says that keep your horses with you for now, but I will take Madhavi with me. So then, after taking Madhavi with him, Galava goes to Boja, and there he meets Usinara. And again, he makes the same proposal, uh, saying that you will have a son with her, but give me 400 horses because his balance is 400 now. You can have two children, two sons with her, but give me 400 horses. And again, he says that having a son rescues uh, the ancestors, and that's why it is called Putra. And so you will have those sons through this Madhavi. So again, Ushinara says that I have heard about Madhavi's story uh, with what happened with Haryyashwa and Divodaasa. So, but again, I don't have that much wealth as you think. So my wealth, again, he says that Ushinara says that my wealth, whatever I have, is for the welfare of my city and my subjects, and it is not for my own enjoyment. Right. So that's why I can give you the 200 horses I have, and I will have only one child with this Madhavi. So they agree to that, and after some time, again they spend their Usinara and Madhavi, they marry, and then they spend their time happily for some time, and then Madhavi gives birth to a son called Shibi. Okay, so this is the same Shibi we heard previously in Vanaparva and other Vanaparva, the stories of him giving his own flesh to save the pigeon. Right? So it is the same Shibi. So Vishinara's son Shibi, he was born, and after that, some time, so they again Galava comes back and takes Madhavi, and he was thinking where to go next. And then at that time, Garuda comes and says that by good luck you have achieved your you've been successful, but when hearing that, Galava says that it is not true because I so far only got 600 horses and not 200 still remain. And at that time, Garuda explains that you will not get those remaining 200 horses because in the olden days, King Richika, he sought at Kanyakubja, Gadi's daughter Satyavati. Richika married Satyavati. We heard about Richika's marriage and Gadi's daughter Satyavati, right? Previously. So as part of Vishwamitra's story, we had looked at that. So he thought at that time, Gadi asks him for 800 horses with pure white color, and he asks for that with this kind of ear black kind of thing. And Richika agreeing to that, he goes to Varuna and gets those horses, right? So, and then in Ashwatirtha, again in Vanaparva and Tirthayatra Parva, we looked at Ashwatirtha and this story came up there, right? So these horses coming through there, through Varuna's blessing, coming in that, and that Ashwatirtha, Richika gets those horses, and he gives those horses to Gadi, and then he marries Satyavati and things like that. And then after performing what Gadi does is he performs a sacrifice, Pundrika sacrifice, and then he gives those horses as a dakshina to the Brahmanas. So those horses were later on, they were purchased by different kings. Okay, so the kings we looked at. Okay, so in Ayodhya, in Ikshvak dynasty, they were purchased, and then they were purchased in Kashi and then in Bhojas. So 300, but the remaining 200, they were disappeared in the river when they were crossing the river in Vitasta. They were they were gone, disappeared in that river. So they went back to Varuna. Okay, so on earth there is only 600 horses. So Garuda says that you will not get those uh, remaining 200 horses even if you search entire earth. So go back to Vishwamitra, let him marry Madhavi and have a child for the remaining 200 horses. So Vishwamitra does not have to, you don't have to give those 200 horses. Instead of those 200 horses, Vishwamitra can have a son. So Garuda suggests this. Then Galava says, okay, agree. And then he takes Madhavi to Vishwamitra. And then he makes this provision saying that here is the 600 horses as demanded by you, but for the remaining 200 horses, I will give you this Madhavi and you can have a son with her. And so by that, I have fulfilled my promise of Guru Dakshina of 800 horses to you. And please release me from this debt, Guru Dakshina debt I have, and so that I can go and do my penances as I wish. So listening to this, Vishwamitra says that, why did you not bring this Madhavi early, first time itself to me, and I would have had 4 children with her and for the 800 horses. But anyway, you have come here, I agree. So I will take her for one son and instead of as a dowry for 200 horses. So you are released from this. So whatever the 600 horses you got, release them in this place here in near my asylum. So let them graze here. So saying this, Vishwamitra marries Madhavi, and then he has a son through Madhavi named Astaka. And as soon as the son was born, Vishwamitra addressed again. Vishwamitra addressed him both and addressed Astaka and gave him those 600 horses. And Astaka then went to the city, Chandra city, and there he gave those horses away. So Galava again with Garuda, he comes having fulfilled his the promise and giving away Guru Dakshina. He comes back to Vishwamitra, and so he meets Vishwamitra again, and then Vishwamitra gives Madhavi back to Galava, saying that I have son with her as per the promise. My agreement is closed, right? Contract is done. So Garuda and Galava, Garuda leaves with her, and then after that, Galava taking back Madhavi with him, goes back to Yayati. Okay, so this Yayati again desiring of then thinks about what to do with Madhavi, and he says that he is going to arrange a Swayamvara for Madhavi, because remember, every time Madhavi gives birth to a child, she becomes a Kanya again because of the blessings she had from a Brahmana, right? So he arranges a Swayamvara in the banks of Yamuna, Ganga Yamuna confluence, and there everybody goes. Yayati goes with his sons Puru and Yadu. So Yayati had 4 sons. Anyone remember the names of the 4 sons? So Yayati had Yadu, who became Yayati had 2 wives, right? So we looked at in Adi Parva, Devayani and Sharmishta. So through Devayani, he had Yadu and Turvasu, and through Sharmishta, Yayati had 5 sons. So Devayani, he had Yadu and Turvasu. Yadu became Yadavas, and Turvasu became Yavanas. So he's a meat-eating type of race. And then through Sharmishta, Yayati had 3 children. Drahyu, who became they became the kings in Bhojas, and Anu, who became the Mlechas, who do not follow any sacrifices or anything like that, and then Puru, who became Pauravas, and from Pauravas, the rest of the lineage came, and we came to Kauravas and Pandavas and everything, right? So that's where the Puru's dynasty continued. So Sharmishta's youngest son, Puru, became the Yayati's heir to that lineage, right? So that race. So here, Yayati comes to Ganga Yamuna's confluence with Puru and Yadu. There, they prepare for the Swayamvara, and while they uh, hearing that the Swayamvara was being prepared, everybody assembles there. All the Devatas, Gandharvas, Naga, Yakshas, everybody comes there. So there, after coming there, Yayati, uh, Yayati looks at that there in that place. So Yayati tries to give Madhavi to someone in that Swayamvara, but Madhavi adopting a leaving that place, Swayamvara place, adopting a uh, shape of a deer, she disappears into forest and starts doing penance as a deer, and she spends her life like a deer in that forest. So living on the vegetation, she spends her time in brahmacharya mode. She starts doing penance in that forest, and after some time, Yayati dies, and he goes to heaven, and there his sons Puru and Yadu, they and others, they multiply. Puru becomes, as I said, uh, the dynastic. He carries on the dynasty. So while dwelling in heaven, Yayati, he comes across Indra, and he big and Indra looking at him. Everybody stopped recognizing Yayati in while he was living in while he was in heaven, and everybody starts asking, who is this person, who is this person, and why he is in heaven, what success he has done to reach heaven, and those kind of things they start asking. And then after, and it's like that, so the charioteers, 100 charioteers of heaven, charioteers in heaven, they open the gates and says that we do not know him, and they push him down towards earth. So while he was falling, Yayati requests that he falls among the auspicious people, the people of merit. So, and he asked why, what sinful thing I have done, and why I am falling like this from heaven, why you are pushing me away. And then those people say that because of your pride, you are falling away, and that's why. So we looked at this story, Yayati's fall in Adi Parva, right? So very detailed story is there, and the reason for him falling is uh, he Indra asks him, "Do you see anyone superior than you in this heaven?" And Yayati says that no, I don't see anybody superior to me. I have done so many sacrifices and merits, and I have accumulated. I don't see anyone superior to me. So because of that pride, he loses his merit, right? And then he starts falling to earth. So that's why Yayati starts falling, and as he was falling, uh, he again these words: "If I fall, let me be among those righteous people, dharmic people. Let me fall among those things." And then, as he falls, so meanwhile, the four sons of Yayati through Madhavi, Pratardana, Vasumanas, Shibi, and Astaka, those were born through uh, Pratardana, Vasumanas through Haryyashwa, Divodaasa son Pratardana, and Usinara son Shibi, and Vishwamitra son Astaka. They were, all of them were in Naimisha forest, and they were performing a sacrifice called Vajapeya. And the smoke from that was reaching this heaven. So it was such a uh, huge sacrifice they were performing there. And Yayati starts falling in that region. And as he was falling, they look at him and they ask, "Who are you? What race you are you? Where you are from? Are you Devata, Yaksha, Rakshasa, or who are you? Why you are come here?" And Yayati says that I am Yayati. I have fallen from heaven in consequence of expiration of my virtues and things like that, and that's why I've fallen. And those kings, these four, Pratardana, Vasumanas, Shibi, and Astaka, they say that uh, uh, your wish be fulfilled. So accept our virtue, whatever virtue we have accumulated through sacrifices, you accept. So, but Yayati says that I am not a Brahmana to accept any gift. On the other hand, I am a Kshatriya, so it is not my heart. Again, I don't want to lessen the virtues of other people. So because again, it is important that the gifts, danas, can only be accepted by Brahmana. So Yayati again repeats here, saying that I'm a Kshatriya, so that's why I cannot accept dana from you. But these four, Pratardana, Vasumana, Shibi, and Astaka, they remind him that at that time Madhavi comes there. So she comes and she tells Yayati that these four are her children, and because they are your grandsons born through daughters, so you can take them. It is not a dana, you can take their merit. So that's why take this as, because all men have right to enjoy the portion of the merits of their offspring. That's why you can have they these merits of these people. And having said that, so as though they say that accepting uh, those merits, and also Galava comes there and he says that I will give my eighth part of my austerities because again I have debt to you. So while all of them are saying, so uh, one after another, they start giving their merits to Yayati. Vasumanas first gives, saying that if I've done on this earth, if I've won any unblameable conduct towards all the men, I have done unblameable conduct towards all the people in this world, and I have been a merit of liberality and forgiveness, and that merit shall go to you. And similarly, Pratardana says that I am always devoted to virtue and also in war, and the fame that whatever that as a Kshatriya I have attained, that be yours. And Shibi similarly gives his merit, saying that I'm always truthful, and truth is dharma, and truth is Agni, and truth which is same as it is Indra, right? So and that truth merit I have accumulated be yours. And Astaka similarly gives, saying that I have performed hundreds of Pundrika, Goshava, Vajpayee sacrifices, and that wealth be, that merit be yours. And as they start recognizing all those, giving those merits and recognizing Yayati gradually starts ascending to heaven. So he starts returning back to heaven, and cheerfully he was welcomed by all the Gandharvas, Yakshas, and everybody in heaven. They start, all the Devatas and everybody starts welcoming him back. And Yayati asks him, ask at that time Brahma why I have fallen down uh, so to earth, and Brahma says that the fault is your vanity, the pride you had. So the vanity, pride of strength, malice, decisiveness, deception, all these things will never result in heaven. And similarly, one should never disregard the inferior, superior, or anybody. So those who have vanity and pride, they will never achieve those things. So Brahma says that. Then Narada concludes, saying that the obstinacy concludes his story, explaining this story to Duryodhana and others. He concludes saying that obstinacy should never be entertained, like Galava did, and similarly, vanity should be given up, and vanity, anger should be given up. So anyone listening to this story uh, will benefit from that. They will have dharma, knowledge of dharma, artha, kama, and also they will enjoy the sovereignty of the all the worlds. So here Narada concludes the story explaining this. So we will take a stop there. Any questions for today? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.